Welcome to the very first ever Freedom Dreamer Live with Marsha Lane Foster. I am Marsha Lane Foster, and today we are coming to you live from the Freedom Dreamer Photography and Lane Foster Fine Art Studios in downtown Rogers. That's historic downtown Rogers, Arkansas, if you are not local to us. I have a guest here with me today. This is Madalyn Elizabeth, and she is with Ozark Alchemy. Say hi, Maddie.
Hi, blessings.
So in our very first few episodes here, we are going to be Facebook Living, and we're also going to be making a recording of the show, which will be cut together later, made available to you on Facebook or YouTube. So if you don't get to see all of the show, that's okay. You can always see the recording later. You probably wonder why we're doing this show. I decided to do this show because I have a lot of subjects that I'm really passionate about, and I share these subjects a lot on Facebook, and my tribe identifies with it. So I wanted to have a platform to talk about the things that are important to me, and I think they're important to you too. So I'm going to read my list because it's pretty lengthy. So women's empowerment, which is my favorite cause. Art, so if you're a writer, a musician, a filmmaker, anything like that, I want to hear from you. And also, if you hear any of these subjects that you're an expert in, or you feel like your business or you as a person work in these areas, let me know, because I am lining up guests for future shows. So again, women's empowerment, art, community. I'm very passionate about community, especially my downtown Rogers community. So many people I love in this community. Spirituality, which is why Madalyn's here today. Personal development, that's been a big one for me in the last 5 years. Also interested in financial freedom. I have been working on creating financial freedom for myself for about 5 years now. And then finally, health and fitness. So actually, Madalyn covers many of those subjects today. So go ahead and let us know that you're on. If you're on, we want to talk to you. If you have a question, once we get going and you hear something that interests you and you have a question, just type the question on here and I will ask Madalyn. My special guest today is Madalyn Elizabeth, and Madalyn is my shaman. And I love her so much, and she's been such a force in my life. And she is with Ozark Alchemy is Madalyn's business. So tell us a little bit about who you are and all the areas you work in, Madalyn.
I am a holistic alchemist and an oracle, a medicine woman. So to the average person, an intuitive life coach, and I utilize holistic practices to alchemize and transform people's lives.
Okay, that makes sense. There's some words in there that I want to clarify.
Okay.
One of the most interesting words to me that I found on your Facebook page is that you're an oracle. What exactly is an oracle? Are you going to tell my future, or Are you with God? Are you one of God's people? What is an oracle?
Yeah, so an oracle is considered really a priest or a priestess that acts as a medium for advice and prophecy, through God.
Okay, all right, I like that. So tell me about because you work in different areas, but you also do specific things, like you teach yoga, you have cacao ceremonies, which I bet most people don't even know what that is. And I've talked to you some about it, but I don't know everything there is to know. So tell me about all the different things you can do to help people find their own spiritual path.
Okay. So I do something as simple as sitting with people and holding space and listening and intuitively bringing guidance and information through. Something as simple as that maybe someone's just getting started on their awakening journey and just like kind of baby stepping it in, and sharing as much information with them as I can about how to get started with where they're at, whether that's somebody that, has been involved in really like religion, let's say, like that's my background, that's where I came from, and being able to bridge that gap between this kind of woo-woo stuff that people would consider and like Christianity, and being able to bridge that gap and show them it's the same thing.
Right.
So doing something as basic as that, or to helping other spiritual leaders in the area, like really stay accountable with their goals and with their gifts that they have to bring to their home, to their community, to their business, to the world, really. And so with that, you know, depending on where the person's at, it's like some people come to me and they just want a card reading. They want just some instant insight to a current situation in their life. Right. I have people that need energy work done, so I share Reiki with people. Reiki is a hands-on healing technique that balances out the physical, emotional, and mental energetics of the self. And also with yoga, you know, yoga is yoga is so broad. It's like, it's now really, it's life. But the physical practice of yoga, our bodies tell us everything that we need to know. We can learn everything we need to know through our own body, through movement of our own body. But yeah, doing things like that, my cacao ceremonies that I do with people, this is really beautiful, powerful plant medicine.
Plant medicine?
Yes.
What exactly is plant medicine?
Okay, so, well, it's a plant.
Right.
Cacao is it's
chocolate. We're talking about chocolate, right?
Yes,
okay.
Everybody knows what chocolate is.
I'm on board with chocolate.
Yeah. Okay, so traditionally we give chocolate to our lovers, and why is that? Like,
we love them.
Yeah,
it's sweet.
Yeah, this is just something that we've kind of adopted. You know, this is something that we've kind of just been conditioned to do to a certain extent. But at the same time, like, there's something much bigger going on with this. And so what cacao does is when you're using ceremonial grade, which means the beans have been compressed down into a paste with people using it, not machines, that brings a certain energy to the chocolate. And
so it's more naturally processed.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's with humans. Humans are the ones that
instead
are processing
of machines.
It. Yeah. And so that brings a different energy and magic to it. As well as even just anything down from the farmers that are growing it. But when you do it in a ceremonial way, in a ritualistic way, it invites a different energy to it. And when you take it in a ceremonial dosage, which is a higher dosage, and you drink it, the way that it impacts the heart, scientifically, it's amazing for the heart. Mm-hmm. Energetically, spiritually, it really helps you tune into the wisdom of your heart.
I like that.
And to peel back these layers of things that we build up over time, whether that's resentments or trust issues or traumas that happened. And it's such a beautiful medicine, right? It's plant medicine, that when you drink it, it's that medicine. And when you combine it with ceremony and intention, mm-hmm. it really accesses parts of the heart that we aren't typically accessing in that moment. And so it really just brings up that stuff for us to be able to strengthen our relationships, not just with ourselves, but with others. Because when we take care of our relationship with ourselves, then that shifts our relationships with other people.
So if somebody wanted to contact you and have a cacao ceremony in their house, you would come and do that there, and they could invite their friends and family there to do that ceremony with them?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I met Madalyn about 5 years ago when I was in kind of a nutrition exercise type setting, and she's so much of a different person than she was 5 years ago. And I am too. We've both grown so much in the past 5 years. It's almost like we're different people in the same body, maybe, but maybe different bodies too, because we're healthier than we were. So when we first met, you're so much different. Tell me about how you've grown, and when would you say your spiritual journey that you're on now really started and took hold in your life?
Okay. Well, yeah, I met you in about 2012, and that's when, about December of 2012 is when I really began to make the commitment to take action in my life, down this journey. And earlier in that year, I had really gotten into nutrition and fitness, which is how we met.
Right.
And so detoxing the body woke up this energy that gave me access to different aspects of myself. And as that started happening, it was like December of 2012 was when I was actually like, the pain of not changing these really major aspects of my life, which at that time was a toxic marriage.
Right.
The pain of not changing that became greater than the pain of just changing it.
Right.
And so December of 2012 is when I took action, and since then it's just evolved like crazy, getting around people that were like-minded and positive and lifting me up and encouraging me to dream. I mean, I remember being with this group of people and us sitting down and saying, okay, everybody, think about where you want to be in 1 year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And I remember everybody sharing what their dreams were. And where I was in that moment, my biggest dream was I just wanted a happy marriage. Mm-hmm. I couldn't see any further than that.
It was the biggest thing in your life.
Yeah. And I wasn't dreaming. I didn't have any dreams.
You were getting through day to day.
Yes, it was like in survival mode. So I've been there. So if you've been there, like, I know, and it's like possible to get out of that.
Well, one thing I want to pick out of that is that what it sounds like to me, and I've read some about this too, but the decalcification of your pineal gland, I think that happens whenever you start eating better and you're getting nutrition. And do you think that's what happened to you?
Absolutely. I think that's a major part of it, was decalcifying the pineal gland. This is something that is linked with our intuition and our discernment, and it's almost like a communication tower of sorts. It's like a receiver of information from higher realms. And so when we start eating foods that have a lot of sunlight in them, because that's what we are, is we have light within us. So when we ingest foods that have a lot of sunlight in them, it awakens parts of our brain and our body, not only just decalcifying the pineal gland, but awakening Kundalini energy through nutrition, which is incredibly powerful.
I think that makes me want to eat a salad. I don't know. If that doesn't make you want to eat vegetables, I don't know what will. To decalcify your pineal gland. You made a post. This is just a little insertion here. I read a post that Maddie put on Facebook a few weeks ago, and it said, what do I find attractive? A decalcified pineal gland. And of course she got some interesting comments on that, but I think that that's important. And whenever you're clear and you can recognize clarity, then you see that in other people, and then that's how you're going to attract. If you're single, that's how you're going to attract your perfect mate. Would you agree?
I think it plays a role in it for sure.
Awesome.
Amongst other things. But that's definitely, a big
Well, we stop. I mean, if and I've done this in my life, when you make the same relationship decisions over and over again, it's just with a different person. It's actually the same person that you're getting with over and over again, but you're making these relationship decisions, and it's because you're cloudy and you're not clear, and you're attracting that same kind of person to you that you had been. So when you get clear, then you can start attracting that perfect mate.
Yeah, because we attract who we are. Not only do we attract who we are, so if we're not changing, then we're not going to be changing the people we're attracting. Not only that, but it's even deeper than that, whereas whatever lesson it is that we need to learn, we're just going to keep manifesting a situation for us to learn the lesson.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how many partners we go through. If we don't learn the lesson, we only manifest the lesson
over
with
and
a
over.
new face and a new name.
Yes. Been there, done that. No more.
No.
So I know most all women are jealous of me, but I do have the perfect husband.
You guys are doing great with this partnership you've got going on here. Working together.
I'm pretty grateful. I must have been in a decalcified state when I attracted him. Okay, let's move on a little bit. So if you're on live and you have a question for myself or Madalyn, go ahead and type it on here. Also, let us know. Just type in if you can see us and hear us okay, because we had some technical difficulties earlier. If you can see us and hear us okay, just comment on the live that you can see us and hear us, or just give us a thumbs up or something. So, next question, prepared question. And we're kind of going free and loose, but I've got some things to ask. So what's a typical day for Shaman Oracle Madalyn look like? So what do you do in a day?
Well, it is different from day to day, but I would say an average day for me would be, I really do not book any work, which I say work because...
What is work?
I mean, it's not work because I love it. It gives me energy. It doesn't take energy from me. So
would work be defined as something you would do that makes money?
Yeah. Yeah, I would, but I've just manifested so many different careers in my life that has never felt like work. And the second that it starts feeling like work,
you're done.
I'm like, oh, no. Okay, it's time. Yeah, it's time to level up.
Right.
So yeah, I typically don't schedule anything. I try not to prior to 11 a.m.
You're my kind of person.
I've been working for myself for a long time, and so I know that that's not the average person's availability, which is fine. It wasn't always mine either. But the reason why I do this is, first of all, I want to wake up naturally. I don't want to wake up to an alarm clock.
Do you wake up the same time every day?
Typically, yeah, between 8 and 8:30 is when I just naturally awaken. But this is because I also go to bed at midnight. Mm-hmm. So if I go to bed earlier, I wake up earlier.
So you're 8 hours and you're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. Sometimes, though, if I'm going through a lot of integrating and changing and just heavy energy, I'll sleep more, and it's just because my body just is integrating all of it.
Regenerating.
Bringing it in. So, but yeah, I like to wake up naturally because, when we sleep, it's all this momentum stops. Our body's doing this healing. We aren't necessarily our astral bodies, aren't with our bodies.
Right.
So it's we're doing work too. It's dreaming and all these things. It's we're not here. So coming back in, and it's okay, back to planet Earth. Here we go. I don't to wake up and to just get up and go and rush around, it's like, that's not for me. So I take the time when I wake up to stay quiet and still and recall my dreams that I had and journal them and sit in meditation and allow things to come through during meditation that maybe I need to know for the day, things that I need to take action on, but really just integrating the energy for that day that I need to tune into.
Right. I read that meditation is best when you first wake up because your brain is still pretty clear. Whereas I personally, I wait until all of the stresses of the day beset me, and then I try to meditate right before I go to bed. So, and that's not a bad thing, but should I be meditating when I first wake up?
I think it's best, honestly. There's been 2 different times I've gone through some major healings and trainings in my life, one through yoga teacher training and one when I went to Mexico and studied with Cacao and my teachers of love there. And when we woke up in the morning, there was no talking. There's no talking to each other. We sit in meditation, we drink cacao, we do yoga, and then we can...
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. And so yeah, that, I mean, because then too, you're setting yourself up to stay grounded during the day around all the other people who are ungrounded because they're not meditating and they're not doing self-care and they're rushing around and doing all this stuff and striving and grinding and all of these things.
You're setting the tone for your day.
Yes, and you stay more grounded being around that kind of energy, and I don't become as ungrounded by others' energy if I'm grounded within myself.
Okay, so you wake up, you wake up slowly, you meditate, then what do you do on a typical day? So
have you heard of the book, The Miracle Morning?
Yes.
Okay. So I loved that book. His concept in the book is he has this acronym that he calls SAVERS. And I do my own version of that, but it's silence, so prayer or meditation, affirmations, visualization, exercise, reading, and scribing or journaling. And so what I do is, what I found is best for me is that I compress some of the different ones. So I'll do meditation, but then like, if I'm just going to do meditation, I may like go on a walk or just do some stretching later as my exercise. But like on the days that I'm practicing yoga, I can do my yoga and my meditation together. So it's like I can check 2 things off
with one activity.
Thing. Same thing with reading and journaling. I can get up and I can read and I can be journaling at the same
while
time.
You're reading.
The things that are coming through, the insights that are coming through. So then I combine those 2. And so that's just an efficient way for me to do it. And journaling is just, man, for me, I'm a writer. And so that's just something that I've always done. And if I can journal every day, even if it's just something as simple as getting up and journaling my dreams at the end of the night, writing something I'm grateful for, journaling in synchronicities that are happening throughout the day, and all these things that I can see are aligning for me. Like, these are all the things that keep me grounded and paying attention and peaceful and reminded of how many things I actually have to be grateful for.
I love it. So do you teach yoga classes sometimes? Sometimes you're doing a cacao ceremony. Sometimes you're doing life coaching.
Sometimes I'm doing all of them at the same time. So I teach yoga at a couple of different places 1 day a week. And I also do private yoga sessions for people if that's what's needed for them, more custom private consultations. And so I also do different circles of people that we gather. We gather groups of people, and I may be doing a cacao ceremony and yoga together within that ceremony. Sometimes I'm doing coaching sessions, and I'll do a 3-hour intensive with somebody, and it's like, all right, first hour we're going to be doing a cacao ceremony, and you're going to be getting all full of love stuff. And then we're going to, like, you know, do a soul blueprint reading for you so you understand who you are at soul level. And then, like, thirdly, like, okay, what are the things that we need to tackle and clear out energetically so that you're not blocked from your goals and the things that have been holding you back from taking action in your life.
Well, I haven't done a cacao ceremony yet, but I've done the other with you when we were life coaching last year. And I'll just tell you that with me, when I did soul realignment with Madalyn, it felt like coming home. It felt like that I already knew the things that she was telling me, but it was being called to my remembrance. So it was like remembering who I was. And everything was so perfectly in line with how I really felt, but then all of this stuff gets piled in on top of it. The stress of making a living, the stress of dealing with people, all of the stress of everything, just of life, got piled on top of who I knew I really was. And Madalyn reminded me who I was, and it brought me to tears. It really did. And I ran up on those notes today. That's what made me think about that. So I need to take a look at those again. Okay, so a lot of people may not know. Some people know. But Madalyn and I have had a fine art project going for a while, and it's my intention to finish that project this year in 2018. And the project went through a couple of different incarnations before we got really clear on exactly what it was that we wanted to communicate with this project. And it started when you were coaching me. And we were like, we're going to trade out. Like, you coach me, and then I'll do a photo session for you. And instead of a photo session, it turned into a fine art project. I do everything big. So in the beginning, I had asked Madalyn, you know, who speaks to you? What speaks to you? And she said that the goddess Lilith was important to her for a lot of different reasons. And we'll talk about that a little bit. But the project evolved from being about Madalyn channeling Lilith and her values to, I started referring to it as the Goddess Project, and I do sometimes still. And it went from that to what we're calling now, the official name of the project is Awakening the Divine Feminine. And it's about Madalyn's journey. It's about Madalyn's spiritual journey to who she is now. And so we're depicting her in all of these goddess type situations and poses that also have to do with her evolution to shaman, her evolution to the person she is now. The first shoot that we did, I want to talk about that a little bit. This was really, you said something to me that was really powerful about that first shoot. And the divine feminine is the bridge between two worlds, and the woman is the only force on earth powerful enough to navigate unborn spirits onto the planet. And when she said that to me, it was just like, wow, you know, I just got so activated, and I felt so powerful as a woman. I mean, I feel powerful most of the time. But I started having babies really young. A lot of people may or may not know that, but I think that took my power away from me a little bit. And so that was really, really a significant moment for me. So let's talk about that first shoot that we did. Do you remember it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was like a dream come true.
In what way?
Well, because, oh man, and it fueled me too. Not only was it a dream come true, but like realizing it was a dream come true and why it was a dream come true, just like it fueled that particular shoot, because I remember for years just like, oh, I want to be a model.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
I want to do modeling. And my first ex-husband.
Bless those ex-husbands.
I gotta have some humor in all of it. Okay, so I remember him once, like I was telling him, I was like, yeah, I think I want to get into modeling. And my friend, so-and-so doesn't. And he was like, she's like 5'11", and that would never happen for you.
Never.
And it was like based off of my height, and it just like in that part of my life, I was already so disempowered that like I just gave my power away.
You believed him?
Yeah. And I was like,
oh, put that out of my head. That's never going to happen.
Yeah. And so this dream that I always had, like, actually, like, came true. And I had stopped dreaming about it. And so it was beautiful. It was like I felt, that shoot was the goddess shoot. And I felt like a goddess. Like, I remember putting on all the jewelry that I bought and going, does this look too gaudy? And then I was like, this is a goddess
awesome.
shoot. Like, yeah.
Well, that shoot was about, because you had just had a baby not too long before we did that shoot. Mm-hmm. And that shoot was also about bringing forth life. Mm-hmm. And we did several different poses, but there are some poses in that shoot that have to do with birth and bringing forth life, and there's some that don't. Yeah. But you do look like a goddess in those shoots. Oh, that's just beautiful. And then we did a shoot last spring. I went to where did you live? Harrison. I went to Harrison and spent the night with you, and we built a nest. So tell me, that was also a significant thing for you, because that was a nude shoot. Is that the first time you'd ever had your photograph taken nude?
Yes.
Okay. So, oh my gosh. We'll tell you, what I'm sure Layla, if Layla's on right now, Layla was the model for the Hostage Project, which was a nude project. So Layla can probably identify with what Madalyn's about to say. But, and I have not ever posed nude. Oh. I think maybe that I don't need to do that. No, I have never posed nude. But tell us about how you felt that day, and tell us about the nest and what it felt like to be in that nest.
Okay. Well, so the whole idea of how this nest and this shoot came about was, the concept behind this shoot was rebirth.
Or just birth.
And so, it was so beautiful to come to this magical yard, and you guys had built this nest, and it was springtime, and it was so green. And it was just so fresh and new, and like new life. And it was just the energy of all of it was so amazing. And so I was just like high, like naturally off of just what was happening.
Well, of course, I was on the more technical side of this, but I will tell you that I walked into this yard, and there was just this huge pile of brush. And I thought, I'm going to make a nest out of this brush. And I don't know how it happened, but I built a 10-foot around nest that was perfectly round. Was it not perfectly round? I took photographs of it from above, and it was perfectly round. And I don't know how I did that. And so I know that there were some higher forces in play that day. And so I lined it with all the green leaves, and then tell us what we did next.
Yeah. So, I was like fresh out of the shower, so all this wet hair, and like completely covered in coconut oil, so it was all shiny and birth-like looking. To like lay down in this nest and like curl up in the fetal position and have these photos taken. Like, I had never done a nude shoot before ever, and for me to you're one of my close friends, and so to be able to like share a vulnerable, intimate moment with a close friend, and another close friend of mine that was helping us, like that in and of itself was such a period of growth for me within myself, because I was going through a transitioning in my life during that time. Me and my me and my second ex-husband had just split up, and it was like, all right, here we go. Like, all right, like starting over.
And now that
again.
I look back, that was in the spring, and that was the beginning of an amazing summer of travel and you know, growth and finding yourself, because I was watching it evolve on social media, you know, seeing you in Venice and seeing you in Italy, and just it's very gratifying to watch you be so free. So
yeah, it was beautiful, and I felt like during that shoot it felt so free. Like I thought, oh, I'm gonna be so nervous, I've never done this before.
You were?
And like the way that you are professionally just like made me feel so comfortable, and the energy of all of it, and it really helped me overcome some things in my life. You know, I'd gone the large majority of my life struggling with body image issues and disordered eating, and so it was like for me to get to a point where not only was I able to do that, but I had a safe place to do it, and a safe person to hold that space for me was like incredibly transformative for me. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love doing it. But I just want to end with this. So one of the most beautiful things that I find about my friend and my shaman, Madalyn, who I love so much, when she gets around me, she leaves little drops of peace. She just everywhere she goes, she leaves peace. And so I always feel so much more peaceful after I've had a visit with you. And it's like things come into focus more, because you're always peaceful, but you make a point to be that way. So many people struggle with anxiety, and so many of you out there struggle with all of these feelings that come up during the day, and you're going from point A to point B, and you're getting this done and you're getting that done. So tell us something that any of us can do to reduce anxiety at any given moment. So we're at our job, we're anxious, or we're doing whatever we're doing during the day, and we just feel like we can't make it another minute. What can we do to reduce that anxiety in that moment?
Okay, so first thing that comes to me is your breath. Most of the time, especially when we're just like going, we're chest breathing. So it's this
Shallow
chest breathing instead of deep belly breathing, long inhales, slower, longer exhales. And so what this does to the nervous system, which by the way, your nutrition plays a huge role in your nervous system as well. But this is something quick fix in the moment. Come back to the breath, breathe really deeply in, slower, longer exhales, come back to your heart, just close your eyes, focus on your heart beating in your chest. How often do you just sit and like feel your heart beating in your chest? Your heart is beating every day automatically. You're not telling it to do it, and it's keeping you alive. Like
have a moment of gratitude for it.
Have a moment of gratitude and going, wow, it doesn't matter what's happening right now. Like, I'm here.
So you're talking about breathing from your belly, your diaphragm.
Yes.
You just imagine the breath coming through there, or how do you breathe through your diaphragm?
Yeah, so it's really like you can be doing this really deep belly breathing. So it's focusing. You can even put your hand on your belly to help you focus more on it. And then slower, longer exhales and kind of pull your belly back into your spine. And so what this does, this deep breathing to get you out of the anxiety mode, is when we're chest breathing and the shallow breathing, we're in a sympathetic dominant nervous system state. So what this is that we're in fight, flight, or freeze. So
I'm familiar with that state.
Yeah. So like all of this, the way that we're actioning life is through those things, through those functions. And so when we're taking slow, deep breaths, we balance our nervous system out into this parasympathetic dominant state where we're in rest and digest mode, which means not only are our organs resting and our nerves are resting and our body's in a restful, peaceful state, but we're digesting as well. So not only digesting food better, We're digesting information. We have like 11 billion bits of information coming into our awareness every like millisecond or something like that. Everything we breathe, everything that we eat, everything we smell, hear, see, everything is all information coming into our system that we have to digest. So we're going to be digesting life better when we're in rest and digest mode.
So just maybe set a timer on your phone for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes and just do that. Just breathe.
Yeah, and you can set like a little mindfulness timer throughout the day that's like that bing goes off and it's
I have to breathe now.
Yes, and it's like my teachers of mine in Mexico, they said this to me. It's like we breathe in, it was the bell, and we breathe in and it's like, I have arrived.
I love
breathe
it.
out, I am home.
Well, that's something anyone can do. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up. If you would like to work with Madalyn, it's ozarkalchemy.com. Is that right?
So the Facebook page is Ozark Alchemy. My website is MadalynElizabeth.com.
Yes.
You can find that on the Facebook page.
Okay,
as
so
well.
scratch what I said. Madalyn with a Y.
Yes,
Madalyn Elizabeth.
MADALYN. MadalynElizabeth.com.
And then if you want to talk to me, you can Facebook message me, freedomdreamerphoto.com, lanefosterfineart.com, if you would like to see some more of my work. And I have decided to end all of these shows with a statement or a quote from a powerful woman. You're grinning because you know what it is. So I just want you to remember, in the immortal words of Marilyn Monroe, well-behaved women rarely make history. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. I love you.